Wait a minute, what? Activision and Bungie have split up? No! I thought they were perfect together. I thought Activision was Bungie's one. This is worse than when Brad Pitt and Shakira split up and there was no more Brack. Yes, that's the news, Bungie is, well, it's going its own separate way now. It'll be self-publishing Destiny stuff from now on. It was in 2010 when Activision and Bungie first got into bed together, and it was announced at the time that Destiny was going to be this big 10-year-long deal. Well, they almost got there. Not quite, but they did almost get to 10 years with 2 games. Right now we don't know all of the mucky, gory details. We do know that in recent weeks Activision Blizzard put out a statement saying that Destiny 2 performed below expectations, which publishers do with most successful AAA games now. We're also pretty sure that the relationship between Activision Blizzard and Bungie was fairly tense. So much so that Kotaku's Jason Schreier reported when the announcement was made that Bungie and Activision would split up, people at Bungie were cheering and bringing out the bloody champagne, which, to be honest, is exactly what I would do if I just got out of a long relationship with Activision fucking Blizzard. Bungie made the announcement itself, an announcement titled Our Destiny, saying, "When we first launched our partnership with Activision in 2010, the gaming industry was in a pretty different place. As an independent studio setting out to build a brand new experience, we wanted a partner willing to take a big leap of faith with us. We had a vision for Destiny that we believed in, but to launch a game of that magnitude, we needed the support of an established publishing partner." They say they created something special with Activision, that Destiny sold a combination of over 50 million games and expansions, adding, "We have enjoyed a successful 8-year run and would like to thank Activision for their partnership on Destiny. Looking ahead, we're excited to announce plans for Activision to transfer publishing rights for Destiny to Bungie. With our remarkable Destiny community, we are ready to publish on our own, while Activision will increase their focus on owned IP projects. The planned transition process is already underway in its early stages, with Bungie and Activision both committed to making sure the handoff is as seamless as possible." So from their announcement, they're more or less saying that they're successful enough now and they've got enough resources to publish Destiny themselves. They don't need Activision Blizzard for funding, for resources anymore. It's certainly interesting that Activision Blizzard will let go that IP, considering so much was invested in Destiny as an idea, but this is certainly exciting news to see, especially when Destiny could be seen as underperforming for a major AAA publisher like Activision Blizzard, a company for which no amount of money will ever be enough, but the bar will be lowered if Bungie are self-publishing. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but Bungie was never owned by Activision Blizzard. It signed a publishing deal with Activision, but they're not owned by them. When they split away from Microsoft in 2007, I believe at the time they announced that they were a privately owned independent company. And I think that's still the case. I looked up to see, it looks like they're still a private company, which means they don't have to answer to Activision Blizzard shareholders, the kind of people who would expect more and more money to an inconceivable, unsustainable degree every single year. So the pressure on Destiny to appeal to as many people as possible and to extract as much money as possible from those people should be significantly reduced. And I'm intrigued to see whether that will change Destiny for the better. Theoretically, without Activision in place dictating things, calling the shots, Destiny's monetization going forward may not be so aggressive. I mean, it might still be. Bungie is self-publishing and they might be desperate for money to keep it going. You don't know. You don't know how it'll pan out. But if we see significant improvements to Destiny 2 going forward, we may very well be able to look, or at least suss out vaguely, what it is Activision Blizzard was mandating and what it is the developer Bungie actually wanted to do with the game. And that will make for fascinating study for anyone who does believe that publishers wield an unholy amount of influence over the video game creative side. side, to the point where some games have been damn near vandalized by publishers and their need for that aggressive monetization. And if those reports of Bungie employees popping champagne corks is real, and I've no reason to believe it isn't yet, it would certainly appear that Bungie was unhappy with some of the stuff Activision Blizzard was ordering them to do, that they feel a millstone has been released from their necks, and that now that they're in control of their destiny, things may be better from now on. I know I, for one, am now way more interested in checking out Destiny 2 and seeing how it shapes up in future. I thought that game was very, very good, but the slip-ups that were kept being had with it, and that monetization, it just turned me off eventually. Most Activision Blizzard games put me off after a while, even if I've been enjoying said game, because eventually I just see it as a rotten, greedy, grasping con job, if I'm honest. That's pretty much what Activision Blizzard publishes, not so much games, as big digital udders with Bobby Kotick's sweating talons wrapped around their teats, milking for all he's worth, milking, 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 milk. Ooh. Milk. For right now, I'm reviewing the situation. I really need to rewatch Oliver, it's been too long. So I'm just going to observe and see how Destiny 2 shapes up. I'm going to cross my fingers that it significantly improves, not just because I would love to dive back into Destiny 2 and play a revamped, improved version, but also because I would just love to see just how bad Activision Blizzard's influence was. And to be fair, it might not have been that bad, Activision Blizzard's influence. I mean, I know I'm almost laughing as I say that, but Bungie has always been pretty close to AAA publishers, you know, Microsoft and then Activision Blizzard, and some of the slip-ups with Destiny 2 did seem to be on the Bungie end of things. But this is an exciting time, and I would not be averse to seeing more developers going their own way. But I recognise Bungie's in a unique situation. Not many studios can claim to retain independence while signing what one assumes is a lucrative mega deal with a major publisher. But if any other major studios can find a way out from under the thumb of a big AAA publisher, more power fucking to them. You know, there's a reason why a game like God of War turned so many heads last year, and that's because it's one of the few AAA games with an actual AAA quality to it these days. Something that can be of a large scale with high production value that also isn't constantly tugging on your purse strings, pulling your wallet open, rifling through it and seeing what it can extract. But anyway, Activision Blizzard is a massive piece of shit, so any studio that can disentangle itself from Activision's slimy tendrils gets the very best wishes from yours truly. So yeah, this should be good news. Fingers crossed, this will be good bloody news. That's about it.